I bet you didn't know one tiny operational slip can drain profit silently. It doesn't look like theft. It looks like normal operations. And because it's small, you probably stop noticing it. Here's the reveal. It's missing time to cash. Discipline. When you don't track it, money moves slower than it should. Small service businesses are built on fast conversion of work into cash. But many owners run their days like tasks are the product. Time to cash is the bridge between doing the job and keeping profit. The tiny slip is failing to collect, confirm, and charge on the right cycle. Not every day, not every customer, just when it's convenient. I bet you didn't know that convenience delays create accounting delays, and those delays feel harmless until payroll and suppliers hit together. Then the owner does emergency moves, credit cards, late payments, rushed pricing changes. Here's the catch. The business didn't get worse. Cash flow did. The tiny slip is a one-step break in the collection loop. Let me translate that into what you see every day. You complete the job. You assume they'll pay soon. But the payment actually depends on 3 internal handoffs. First, capture the job details accurately enough to invoice. Second, confirm the customer agrees before the invoice goes out. Third, charge, then follow up on the exact day it's due. One of those steps gets skipped. That's where profit leaks. For many owners, the skipped part is step 3, follow-up timing. They invoice, then they wait for the customer to remember. That wait can stretch into 2, 3, or 4 payment cycles. Meanwhile, your fixed costs don't wait at all. Here's the scary math without spreadsheet drama. It ties up your working capital. When cash is tied up, you can't buy materials, hire coverage, or fix bottlenecks. So the business looks stable, but it's actually starving. Let's make it concrete with 3 common small business examples. Example 1. A laundromat add-on service for repairs and supplies. If you only bill at the end of the week, you delay cash from the middle of the week. Those small invoices pile up. Then you're chasing payments on Monday. Example 2. A car wash with memberships or subscriptions. If renewals aren't confirmed daily, you miss the money that would have repeated automatically. Example 3. Storage units with late fees and partial payments. If you accept a partial payment but delay the next step, the account sits in limbo. Limbo kills cash and increases time spent on admin instead of service. So, how do you spot this tiny mistake fast, without hiring a consultant? Look at the days when you feel busy and check your bank deposits. If your deposits lag your work by weeks, time to cash is broken. Now ask the uncomfortable question. Who owns the follow-up cycle? If nobody owns it, it becomes everybody's problem. And the customer senses that hesitation, even if they can't explain it. Here's what to implement this week. A daily charge and confirm window. Same time each day. 15 minutes. No exceptions. During that window, you do 3 actions only. Charge, confirm, and mark done. That's it. No hunting, no multitasking. Just closing the loop. The goal is simple. Reduce the time between service and cash by design. When you do it daily, You catch problems while they're still small. A wrong address or a missed authorization becomes a same-day repair. But if you wait, that wrong detail becomes a weekend problem. And weekend problems turn into emergency discounts. Discounting feels like saving the relationship. Often it's just saving cash later. Profit isn't only about getting the price right, it's about collecting on time. Now, one more hidden angle, your unpaid work count. If unpaid work grows every week, you're paying expenses with yesterday's cash. That's how owners end up working harder and still falling behind. So measure one simple number: how many days of unpaid invoices you're carrying. When that number rises, treat it like a warning light, not a mystery. Because your profit can be positive, while your cash is negative. This is why the tiny mistake matters so much for service businesses. You're selling convenience and speed, but your billing system is slow. Customers notice that mismatch quickly, especially when they're busy too. Fixing time to cash isn't about being strict. It's about being consistent. Set a routine, then make it hard for anything to fall through. For example, if an invoice isn't paid in the first window, you escalate immediately. Not days later. Not after lunch. Same day. This turns unpaid work into a controlled workflow, not a vague stress cloud. And when it's controlled, your pricing decisions stop being emotional. Because you're not guessing whether you can afford it. You know. Let's keep going with the practical part, what to audit tonight. Open your last 2 weeks of completed jobs and find the ones still unpaid. Now ask, were they charged immediately or were they parked for later? Parked work quietly becomes unpaid work, and then becomes write-offs eventually. You don't need more customers. You need faster conversion of current work. This tiny slip shows up the same way in every service industry. You can't fix it by working harder. You fix it by tightening the loop. So here's your one-rule system. No completed work stays unbilled past the next charge window. If the job isn't ready for billing by then, it isn't truly complete. Because completion must include the cash step, not just the service step. Now picture your month if you fix this for 4 weeks. You'll likely see fewer late surprises and less frantic cash management.